make it. Good for you. Good to see you too. And so Matt's going to tell everybody exactly what this meeting's about. Good to see you too, Jeff. Hello.
Hey, Mad Alcoholic. Welcome to Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop. If you're new to AA or coming back, this is the meeting for you. This group is exactly what the name says, a workshop. We read 6 AA books, work the steps, sponsor you, and give reading and writing assignments. We'll teach you an AA program. We move right along here and people get well here. Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop is a step workshop. Unlike most AA meetings, it's not a speaker's meeting nor a discussion meeting. It's more like an AA class, AA 101, AA University. You want to have the attitude of learning, do the assigned reading and writing on the steps. We'll take you through the steps and AA books in short order. So if you're looking for guidance and direction in an AA program, this is the meeting for you. Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop on Zoom is a unique meeting since we use the same principles AA used between 1932 and 1939. Everybody works in the group and moves through the 12 steps to live our lives free from alcohol and learn a new way of living. We're glad you can make it. For newcomers, there's a link to the newcomers packet in chat. Security for Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop. We have cameras and chat turned off. You can chat only with the co-hosts. We do all of the above for safety reasons. Zoom bombers try to get in and the above eliminates them. We don't allow group sharing in chat or exchange of phone numbers. This is an AA step class. Since everyone's new here, we want to protect you. Meeting confirmation. Here's our email for meeting confirmation. stepworkshop1@gmail.com. And this is good for school, class, work, probation, court orders, etc. Announcements. 7th tradition. Contributions. You can make donations to @Jann Scott and Venmo or using the Cash App JackFox111999 or PayPal, which is good for international, to Jann Scott JannScottLive@gmail.com 720-646-6131. Contributions go to pay for Zoom, Boulder 1AA, Boulder County AA, OIO AA Intergroup, and Father Terry's work. We offer free books to those in need. We spend about $350 a month every month. Suggested donations are $1 to $2 per month, or the price of a 12-pack of Bud, 12 ounces per month, $18.99. This group meets daily with the following formats. Monday is 12 by 12 step study. Tuesday's big book. Wednesday, as Bill sees it, Sunglass Wednesday. Thursday, came to believe, Dog Thursday. Friday is Cat Friday. It's open and the chair picks the topic. Saturday, Living Sober. And Sunday is Daily Reflections. AA Preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We're self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Please join me in the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. If you're new to this meeting, please come for 5 days and see how you like it, and then we'll put you to work. This meeting is recorded with audio only for our podcast on YouTube channel. No video pictures or names are shown. No one will even know you're here. Our podcast is YouTube channel, Newcomer Slipper Step Workshop AA meeting, and there's a link to the YouTube site and chat. And finally, everyone, please introduce yourself as an alcoholic when speaking, and thank you for being here. And with that, back to you, Jay, in the studio.
Thank you, Matt, for reading, and everybody for helping, co-hosts. put up, those of you who are co-hosts, put the word greeter up too. So today is a big book, Wednesday. We read, excuse me, As Bill Sees It Wednesday. And we read from As Bill Sees It a little bit today. So I thought maybe what we could do is let's read about slips. So if you guys, one of you would put up the link to As Bill Sees It, and then Sam, here you go. It's going to be pages 11, 52, 68, and 99. 11, 52, 68, and 99 in As Bill Sees It. Raise your hand if you have the book and you want to read. See how I have my hand up like that? So pages 11, 52, 68, 99. You're gonna put that up? Is it up there already? And put a link to it. Put a link to As Bill Sees It so people can follow along. And over to you, Jeff, let you start with the first one.
Jeff, Alcoholic, South Florida. Page 11 out of As Bill Sees It, slips, quantity or quality. About this slip business, I would not be too discouraged. I think you're suffering a great deal from a needless guilt. For some reason or other, the Lord has laid out tougher paths for some of us, and I guess you are treading one of them. God is not asking us to be successful. He is only asking us to try to be. That you surely are doing and have been doing. So I would not stay away from AA through any feeling of discouragement or shame. It's just a place you should be. Why don't you try to join us as a member? You don't have to carry the whole AA on your back, you know. It's not always the quantity of good things that you do, it's also the quality that counts. Above all, take it one day at a time. And this is a letter from 1958, Bill Wilson. Thank you for letting me share.
Good job. Way to go. Page 52. Go ahead, Ron. You're up.
I'm Ron, I'm an alcoholic. To guard against a slip. Suppose we fall short of our chosen ideals and stumble. Does this mean we're going to get drunk? Some people tell us so, but this is only a half truth. It depends on us and our motives. If we are sorry for what we have done and have the honest desire to let God take us to better things, we believe we will be forgiven and will have learned our lesson. If we are not sorry and our conduct continues to harm others, we are quite sure to drink. These are the facts out of our experience, and that's from Alcoholics Anonymous, page 70. Thank you.
Sam, did you want to read? You had your hand up. Go ahead, Sam. Page 68. Ta-ta. Sam.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Sam, grateful alcoholic. This is page 68, and as Bill sees it. All right. Renew your effort. Though I know how hurt and sorry you must be after the slip, please do not worry about a temporary loss of your inner peace. As calmly as you can, just renew your effort on the AA program, especially those parts of it which have to do with meditation and self-analysis. Could I also suggest that you look at excessive guilt for what it is, nothing but a sort of reverse pride. A dissent great for what that happened is fine, but quit. Oh, but guilt, no. Indeed, the slip could well have been brought about by unreasonable feelings of guilt because of other moral failures, so called. Surely you ought to look into this possibility. Even here, you should not blame yourself for failure. You can be penalized only for refusing to try for better things. This is a letter from 1958. Thank you for letting me read it.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And then Kelly, we'll call on you next. 99. Secret Agent, 99.
Kelly, Kelly, alcoholic. 99. The slipper needs understanding. Slips can often be charged to rebellion. Some of us are more rebellious than others. Slips may be due to the illusion that one can be cured of alcoholism. Slips can also be charged to carelessness or compliancy. Many of us fail to ride out these periods sober. Things go fine for 2 or 3 years, then the member is seen no more. Some of us suffer extreme guilt because of vices or practices that we cannot or won't let go of. A too little self-forgiveness and too little prayer. Well, this combination adds up to slips. Then some of us are far more alcoholic damaged than others. Still, others encounter a series of calamities and cannot seem to find the spiritual resources to meet them. There are those of us who are physically ill. Others are subject to more or less continuous exhaustion, anxiety, and depression. These conditions often play a part in slips. Sometimes they are utterly controlling. Talk, 1960. Thank you.
Okay, and what it's like now that you are in AA in this group. So we're going to do something a little different today. We did a version of this yesterday. We did your 3-minute version of your story. And today, for classroom work, we're going to do the 2-minute version of your story. And then, so what we've been doing is kind of giving instructions on how to tell your story at a speakers meeting. And in the AA Big Book on page 58, Ron, it says, here, let me see here. Excuse me, it's on the wrong page. It says, our stories, the second paragraph, our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. So our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we're like now. So a lot of times, and we saw this yesterday, people get right to the drinking in their story, but that doesn't really help anybody. So we usually start out with, you know, I was born in such and such town, grew up in such and such kind of family, and then what happened? I was, feeling like a duck out of water, and then I started to drink, in my teenage years. And then it got really, really bad, and I got sick and thrown in jail or detox or hospitals. And then I came to AA. And then what happened to me in AA is I came to this meeting, I started working the steps. I was given instructions on how to do a first step, second, third through 12th. And I started reading the material. And in the process of that, everything changed. My whole life got better. So what is Alcoholics Anonymous? Alcoholics Anonymous is a 12-step process that teaches you how to live your life without drinking. And miracles happen. For those of you new, you come for 5 days. That's what I usually recommend. Come here for 5 days. We're at same bat time, same bat channel every single day. If you're in the West Coast, we start at 3. If you're the East Coast, we start at 6. You come here for 5 days, see how you like it, and then we'll put you to work. The other thing that happens, you come here for a month, every day for a month. I guarantee inside of 2 weeks, your whole life's going to turn around. You'll be like, holy crap. Even if you've been coming to AA for a while, you'll be like, oh my God, nobody told me it was like this. Because one of the things that happens when you go to AA meetings now, today, in 2025, is they're really like self-help therapy groups, but that's not really what AA is. In the 1930s, when they started AA, they put together this 12-step process. They call it a program. It's like reprogramming a computer. So we reprogram your brain. You reprogram your brain. It would just change everything, how we think about life, alcohol, etc. So we get to the point where we stop drinking and then things get better. It's a real miracle. So that's what we do here in this class. This is an unusual meeting. This is the only meeting like this in the world. This one. You go to other meetings, they're discussion meetings, and everybody will sit there, whine, complain. They'll talk about their cat. You ever been to an AA meeting and every day you go there, people are talking about their cats or their husbands or their boyfriends or their wives? That's not what AA is about. AA is this 12-step process, teaches you how to live your life without drinking. And that's what we do here. But so today we're going to work on our stories. So the effective way of telling your story is what it was like, what happened, and what we are like now. And remember, everybody gets hung up. They get hung up in the war stories, but that doesn't help anybody. The only thing that helps people is you go to the war stories, but then you get over on this program of recovery and talk about how the fuck it helped you. Does not help anybody if you're talking about your war story. So let's see, where's the clock? I will try myself. This is good for, so when you get invited to speak at a speakers meeting, at least you know what the, excuse me, I gotta find my clock. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. At least you know how it's supposed to go. So here we go, 2 minutes. So I want you to time yourself when you do it. Okay, so I'm Jann, I'm an alcoholic. I grew up in a small town in New England and to an ostensibly good family. The one thing I noticed was there was a lot of work going on. Your worth was measured in your ability to work. And it was a very harsh environment. I was the youngest of 4 kids, and my family owned a construction company. There was a lot of drinking going on. And for babysitters, I had construction workers. So I would go out and work with them. And they sort of taught me how to drink, which was verboten. By the time I was in high school, I started to drink. And by the time I was 18, I was admitted to my first alcohol treatment center where I was diagnosed with acute alcoholism. Um, it took me 10 years to get to AA. I got to AA in 1975, and I've been coming ever since. I haven't missed. About 11 years in, I started to do this 12-step process that we talk about here. My whole life changed. I thought, oh my God, I didn't realize AA was about this 12-step process that just fixed everything. So I went through step 1, which is admitted we're powerless over alcohol, and step 2, and step 12, carrying the message to other people, which is kind of what I do here right now. So I will tell you that this meeting and meetings just like this have helped me a lot because they're really focused in the 12-step process of recovery. And I don't drink anymore. My life is completely turned around, and I'm really happy to be here. Wow. Now, there's a saying that goes, you can tell your whole life story in 2 minutes. So think about that. Tell your AA story in 2 minutes. All right, Jeff, you want to give it a whirl? I'm going to run the timer on you, Jeff. What it was like, what happened, what
Yep.
it's like now. 2 minutes, go.
Jeff, alcoholic, South Florida these days. I was born in a small New England town, alcoholic home, violent, dysfunctional, but work. Everybody worked and the bills were paid and everything like that. I got a very good break, and some people kind of sponsored me into something. I got a good, and so I was removed. I was moved. I was out in just a very discreet way. Okay, and I was a place where it was very structured and very good. I got some education. I got some all kinds of. It was work and education was wonderful. I popped a few beers in the mid-teens when other teenagers were doing it. We get together, but in my 17th year, I just decided I wanted to really drink the way I wanted to drink, and that I didn't know what that was, but that's what I did. And my alcoholism is my alcoholism. I started drinking right away. As soon as we throw our hats in the air, I was drinking, and that was for 25 years. That was it. Never stopped me from working. I never missed a day of work. Total phony, borrowing Peter to pay Paul, but always paid everybody back. So I always had money for my drinking. Bounced all around the world, the country, whatever. Total phony though. Because I was some fabrication, some character I had fabricated. Okay, finally played out 40 years ago. I worked. I came through the doors of AA. It was it was bad. Um, I came of my own volition, and I got sober for I think it was 90 days. And at that point, I decided maybe I had this thing licked. I picked up a drink. It was a disaster for less than 24, but a disaster. I went right back into AA, not doing it right, not getting a sponsor, not doing this kind, not working the steps. I might add, very important. Just going to meetings. Did that another 3 months, and then again lied to God, lied to myself. That first step, I got to admit that I'm powerless over alcohol. I said that I was, but I wasn't. Picked up a drink. It lasted just one evening. I drank all that evening, and I said nothing great happened. I just said to my friend, she was there. She's very supportive of me, a lady. I said, "This is." Oh my God, I got to give this to God. I said, this is going to be me the rest of my life. I can't just take one. She said, you're right, Jeff. That's it, hit my bottom. And so I walked into the doors of AA, did everything right that I knew how to do in AA from that time. I still was not working the steps the way
There you go.
I
There's your
kind of
2
knew
minutes,
I had to do
Jeff.
it.
You're
I'm
done.
here,
All
and I'm
right,
here sober.
go ahead. Kelly, how about you? You want to give it a whirl? Your story in 2 minutes.
Kelly, AA, alcoholic. Yep, I'm in AA. So I grew up in a regular family, the oldest of four. No issues with health or alcohol. And at 16, I went off. I got myself my driver's license. I was able to go to local dances and dance halls with my friends. I legally turned. I could legally drink at 18. And that's where she all got started. And up and down, I've been in the corporate world for many years, married with 2 children, and actually I've owned my own business for 20 years, but things finally caught up with me in January of this year. I got myself a DWI. So that is kind of the basic history. I am 63 years old, and I never thought that this would happen to me. And when you do that many years of drinking, it's got to catch up with you at some point. So, so since then, I have been to a number of meetings. I really like the online meetings. I like the way this group runs the organization. That they're very focused on the 12 steps. I've been able to. I am 54 days sober. And it's been a blessing. I made the commitment when I walked in to do 90 and 90, because I thought that was important to me. And so let's see here. I like the online. Life has been so much easier for me. I don't have to think about, am I sober enough to be able to drive today? Or if somebody calls me, I don't have to worry about, can I really drive? And so that's an important start. So thank you everyone for listening.
Oh, see, you timed yourself, didn't you? You were watching
I
the
did.
clock. Yeah, there you. So one thing for those of you I'm going to call on. So you write out what it was like the beginning of your life. Then when you started drinking, it then goes bad, and then you get into AA and what you've done and how it's helped you since you've gotten here. So you're carrying the message to others, giving them some hope. Let's see here. Okay. We called on oh hey Rebecca, are you driving? You want to tell your story in 2 minutes or less?
Can you give me a 3-minute handicap since I'm older? I have more to tell.
No. 2 minutes.
Okay. All
Go.
right. I am Rebecca, alcoholic. I was born in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, when my father was doing his residency. He was not home a lot because of that. We moved to the city. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. We grew up in a very good family. Really no alcoholism, except mom did like her wine, so that's questionable. I did a lot of pot when I was in grade school, well, 13 years old. By the time I got to college, I went to the biggest party school there is, SUNY New Paltz, in the 70s, and so it was pretty wild. By the time I got to college, though, I wasn't doing pot because it made me paranoid. Then I discovered other dry goods, and then I became a cocaine addict. I went to rehab. Was not ready. It was based on an intervention. I went to the most prominent rehab there was, but I did not take advantage of it. I didn't do the steps. I was just more interested in who the celebrity was that was there. So I got out, did 90-90, again, went to big meetings in the city, had no idea what, everyone looked busy, like they knew each other. I was shy. I was generally a shy kid, but I was hung out with the cool kids. Then I never did cocaine again after that. But I left the rehab saying, you know what, I really, I can have a glass of wine now and then. So I fooled myself, but didn't really become an alcoholic. It was a progressive disease for me. It didn't really become a major alcoholic till maybe 10 years ago, 9 years ago. And I escalated during the pandemic. I was drinking out of the bottle and from the freezer, vodka, and shakes, and looking in the mirror every morning to see if I was yellow.
Okay, that's it. You're
Ah,
done. So here's
oh
the thing.
man.
When you guys are talking, you got to get to your recovery. You got to get right to, and then I came to this meeting and I started doing this work, and my life is grand. Now it's grand. Okay, Chaz, how about you? You want to give it a roll, girl? 2 minutes, what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now that you've met Big Daddy and you're in the
Oh,
Big
woo.
Daddy meeting. Okay, go ahead.
Hi everyone. I'm Shaz and I'm very grateful alcoholic today, sober. I was born in Strathfield, which is a suburb of Sydney in the state of New South Wales, Australia, of course. My childhood was idyllic. There was no alcohol, there was no violence. I'm an only child, and my mother and father were really gentle folk, especially my dad. Mum was a little bit tough on me. The pot stick got a few whirls around the back of my legs, but dad was just, he was so understanding. If I was going through anything, he'd sit me down and he'd say, okay, chick, let's talk about it. And I had an amazing bond with my dad. We'd go fishing out in the ocean with the albatross flying around us, and that's how I spent my childhood. Then when I was 21, I have a very restless spirit. I really wanted to go overseas, so I booked a passage on the Fair Star. I went overseas by myself. I'm a very bold woman. I've always been a bold woman. I've never needed anybody to keep me company or, make my life better. I've always been able to, maneuver my own life. So I went overseas. I worked in Switzerland and all over Europe, and I had the most amazing time. And I met who was to be my husband. He was English. He was born in Salisbury in Wiltshire. So we got engaged, and I told him that I wasn't going to stay in England, that if he wanted to be with me, he had to move to Australia. And so the poor man did. And of course, what happened is
Listen, this
I
is
had,
perfect because she didn't even get to the drinking, but I like this. This is a great story. Thank you. Okay, let's try Preston. It's your story in 2 minutes. Go ahead, Preston.
Oh man, all right. I'm Preston. I'm an alcoholic. What it was like, born in the South, very early age, kind of a dysfunctional family. So I hung out with an older crowd, followed after my brother, started getting in trouble with the law and getting kicked out of schools, and introduced to, drinking and other things, when I was 12 or 13. and just going down the wrong path very early, in and out of, different institutions and stuff. Introduced after, a few years past, my alcoholism and drug addiction's getting bad. Thrown into some places to try to help me. That never stuck. Introduced to my first rehab at 23. First time with AA and the steps. I'm more compliant than anything else. Don't really know what the hell I'm doing, but things are, getting better than they were. I have 8 days now, and I like the readings that we had. So I would get some time, build my life back up for a short while. Something or myself would take me back out for a short while, burn everything down, crawl back to AA, start over. Things would go good. Something else would happen, just like the readings are talking about. But although I have 8 days, what happened when I was even, the first time introduced to AA, and even currently, I started to learn about myself, like my true self and the disease and how sick I really am and how much help I really need. And I start to discover people who are like me, and I'm not as afraid to ask for help. And I get some guidance and direction from people and from the program and from God. I get to experience God, a God of my own understanding. And my life, pretty quickly changes if I can stay sober. And so, I've got 8 days now, right? And so I love this meeting. I love AA. It saved my life more than once. And I guess I'll just keep it at that. Thank you.
There you go. Julie's been taking notes like mad. Okay, Julie, where'd she go? Julie, your story in 2 minutes. What it was like, what happened, what it's like now. Go.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Julie, alcoholic. Hopefully my connection is okay. I was born into a family of alcoholism and mental health issues. And but I didn't really have an issue until maybe my 20s or so, when I started to go to weddings and there were open bars, and I'm very uncomfortable in my skin when it comes to social situations, including my own wedding. So I think that's when I really noticed my alcoholism take off. And let's see, how I got to recovery initially was I had gone through a divorce after my crazy wedding, and I
By the internet. Well, there she was getting there.
terrible marriage, or I had all these excuses. It wasn't that, it was me and my alcoholism, and I needed help. And so I got into meetings at that point. But actually only a year into my 1 year sobriety, I lost my nephew to fentanyl poisoning, and it just kicked me in the butt. And I kind of dropped everything and just thought, I've got this. I'm going to do it on my own. It was a bad idea. So a couple of years ago, I found Jann, and this everyday meeting and sponsorship and service opportunities. So I've got my steps back and sobriety back, and there's my time. So I was timing myself, yes.
Perfect. Yep. So you always get a gold star if you say things like, and then I found this meeting in Jan and and I'm like, yes, there you go. Of course. What the hell? All right. Let's see here. Okay. Ron, I know you've worked at a couple. Wait a minute, where is Sam? Sam, are you here? Sam, I know you
Right
worked at a
here.
few times. Go ahead, Sam. You're what it was like, what happened, what it's like now. 2 minutes. Go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Sam again, grateful alcoholic. What it was like. Okay, so I was born in Falls Church, Virginia, which is about 15 minutes outside DC, just south of DC. I was the oldest of four siblings, three boys, one daughter. I grew up in a very, I would say, Puritan household. We were very much on about like religion and spirituality and maintaining our health. That's how it started out. Then around when I was 12, my dad started binge drinking. So he would drink in the weekends. He usually gave the excuse of, well, this is, to help me relieve my stress or whatever, right? Myself, I was very active. I loved sports. I did football, basketball, baseball, at my school and at the club level as well. I had neighbors who were, mostly government employees, since we were right outside DC. One neighbor had a very big impact on me. He was a major in the Air Force, and that is where my desire to join the military came out of. My first time I drank was when I was 14. It was in my best friend's basement. His grandmother, he had been living with his grandmother. She came downstairs, offered us some refreshments, and offered us some beer. And we had some beer and we smoked some weed and became very paranoid. It was a very surreal experience. Didn't really like it, so actually didn't really use substances for like the next 5 years after that. Picked it up again in college, of course. I pledged a fraternity out of George Mason University. There I frequently partied. Kept up with my grades, didn't really impact school as much, but did impact my social interactions. We would get into fights, had girlfriends, broke up with girlfriends over alcohol, not over alcohol, etc. But yeah, it did definitely change
That's your
how my life
time. So you got to work on it. Get,
2 minutes.
I'm sorry,
Wow, that's
excuse
fast.
me. You have to get to the recovery, you guys. Get to the recovery. So make notes here and you got to get to recovery. So Stacy, you are up next. Your story in 2 minutes.
Hello, Stacy Alcoholic. So I was born into a family with alcoholics. They weren't, it was, we were, I'm the youngest of four. Everything was good growing up. My dad always had the keeping up with the Joneses mentality. Excuse me. I was introduced to alcohol when I was like about 14, 15. They gave me a bottle of wine at Thanksgiving. I drank the whole bottle, got sick, ruined Thanksgiving dinner, and I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. Next day felt terrible. Kind of left alcohol alone until after high school. And then got married, got divorced real quick, and then started drinking to make me feel better, help me be social. Went through pretty regular drinking until COVID happened. And then I was on COVID vacation for months and just drank myself nearly to death. Went to rehab for the first time in 2020, the end of 2020, and the beginning of 2021. Got sober, spent a few months sober, and then St. Patrick's Day happened, which just happened again, but this time I stayed sober. I lost my sobriety because it was St. Patrick's Day, and I thought I can do this, and sure enough, I couldn't. So I started drinking again, was just going through the motions, drinking myself sick every day, drinking myself better every day, and then sick again. And then things came to a boiling point when I got a DUI, and I immediately found AA, and I didn't like it. And then I came to this meeting and I loved it because it gave me structure and showed me the 12 steps. So since then, I've been coming to this meeting as much as I can. I've gone through all the steps and my life is better 100%.
All right, perfect. You just got there. Good job. You got to get to the recovery. So we tell our stories in a general way to other people so that they can see how Alcoholics Anonymous works and how we recover. But most people, when they tell their stories, never get to the recovery. They get hung up in the war stories and never get here. So a lot of you have been coming to this meeting for some time, and I'll ask you where you're working on in the steps or how has this meeting helped you, and then you can really spit that out. So you have to integrate that into your story. So when you go to a meeting, an in-person meeting or a Zoom meeting, and they say, "Hey, JT, would you like to do a lead for 15 minutes?" At least you know you can tell your story in 2 minutes. So over to JT, your story in 2 minutes.
Oh, I've been trained, JT alcoholic. This is worse than a high school track training. All right. Okay, here we go. 2 minutes. All right, JT alcoholic. So I was born in Indiana, but pretty much grew up in Florida. Came from a wonderful childhood in the 70s, growing up in country club land in the suburbs, very much equivalent to the movie Caddyshack. Went to law school. I've had a really good professional career, been a great student. I've had some success in life. But so what happened is that the day I picked up a drink, first time I was 15, instant blackout. And it was downhill after that. And of course, I didn't just limit myself to alcohol because I'm Generation X. So I have a lot of dry goods in my story. I've had, spent thousands and thousands of dollars wasted, near-death experiences, blackouts, done insane things, nearly lost my life. And I've been in and out of AA since the 90s. And this time around, I've got a few months under my belt. And I know now it starts with surrender and the gift of desperation. And so I found a really good group called Slippers, which is highly focused on the steps. And I can tell you, I've got that triangle thing. Relationship with God as I understand him, that 12-step process, and staying very close to this fellowship and doing service work when I can. And I get those three things in my life and I build those, and I'm a firm believer that this is a daily reprieve based on my spiritual condition. And every day I'm doing the steps, that 10, 11, 12, trying to help newcomers and sticking with the winners. And this program can work miracles. I've seen it in my own life and I've seen it in others. Thank you for letting me share.
All right, perfect. There you go. Yeah, everybody's applauding. Good. You didn't mention my name, but you didn't mention the group. That's good. And hey, Garrett, you want to give it a go? Your story in 2 minutes, man.
Okay. I'll try and time myself too. Garrett Rich, was like I'm from Alameda, California, and Oakland. My dad was an alcoholic. My grandpa was an alcoholic. Yeah, and then my mom is the opposite, so split parents. But I wasn't really tripping off of that. The only thing that I was bringing that up is because I just saw my dad drink as a kid, and like so I would it just got it in my head a little bit, and I never thought I would drink until I was 17, and then like right after high school I started kind of drinking more, and the other guy he said he was in a frat, so I joined a fraternity, and that's where shit just fucking you know what I mean? So lots of blackouts. Good times too, but I realized that alcohol is a progressive disease, right? Like it could be good times, but then you keep drinking and then it just, it kind of takes over your life. And then after college, I did graduate with honors and all that stuff. Um, I that went on and on, and then I realized I needed to stop when I drank and drove, and I crashed my car. Luckily, no one was hurt. And actually, that didn't quite stop me. It was when my girlfriend said that uh, I needed to stop drinking and driving, and I still drunk and drive, and I told myself I'd never drink and drive again, and I still did, and that's when I knew I needed help. And then I started going to AAA meetings about 3 years ago, and working the steps, and my life is better now because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. I try to work the steps as much as I can. I go to usually a 6:30 a.m. meeting, but Naomi, who is here, I wanted to come with her to her first meeting, and so I'm glad I could spread the word, and I'm thank you guys for all being here. The end.
Absolutely. 100%. Hey, Naomi, you want to talk? What's your story?
Yeah, I can go real quick. So I grew up with immigrant parents. Um, I had a really dysfunctional family, a lot of fighting between my parents, a lot of bickering, and so I struggled with mental health issues. When I was about 21, I tried to take my own life, and I was put in rehab. Um, and then I was doing better, and I got into grad school. I was studying, getting a PhD, um, and that became stressful. So I started smoking weed, a lot of weed. Um, and then this past month or so, school just got so overwhelming and a lot of anxiety. And the weed wasn't helping, and I just turned to alcohol and I just began to like binge drink. Um, and uh, now, like, I'm back at my parents' house. I was lying to everybody about my drinking and my smoking and everything. And I just realized that my life was getting out of my hands. I had to take a leave of absence from school because I just couldn't handle the anxiety. Um, and the weed and the alcohol were just taking over. And yeah, I reached out to Garrett, who's actually my boyfriend's friend. They went to high school together. And I kind of knew his story, so I just leapt on for support. But yeah, it's been one day and I'm really struggling. I'm having a lot of anxiety and yeah, I don't know, physically not feeling good. So yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Come to the meeting for 5 days in a row. Also, you might consider seeing your primary care physician, check your blood pressure, all of that. Um, find out how much, withdrawal from alcohol and drugs can be pretty severe. So you want to check the medical part out. Don't let it wait. The third day is usually the roughest. And keep coming back. You're welcome to come here if you want to come for 5 days, see how you like it, and we'll put you to work. And then over to let's see here. Where'd he go? He was just up here someplace. But people just, oh, there. Hey, Ron, you want to read the promises? Da, 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 da.
My name's Ron. I'm an alcoholic. These are the promises from page 83 in the big book. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Today, what we've been doing is giving what's called an AA pitch to the 2-minute version. You've heard of the elevator pitch, right? That's become kind of popular in the past 4 or 5 years, decade. In Alcoholics Anonymous, we've been giving our stories or our pitches forever, since the 1930s. You go to speakers meetings and people will talk for a half an hour or an hour. Currently, you go to AA meetings right now, and oftentimes they'll have somebody do what's called a lead. It's an AA pitch for 15 minutes. And So since this is a class and we teach all kinds of things here, including the 12 steps, we give reading assignments, writing assignments. So today and yesterday and over the past week or so, we've had everybody work on your pitch. The pitch is a way for you to carry the message to people who are new, to help them decide if they want to come to AA and recover from alcoholism. And it's broken up into 3 parts. The first part is what it was like where you're from, who you are. The second part is then I started drinking and life went to crap. The third part is my recovery. This is what I'm doing in my recovery. And as I said earlier, most people never get to their recovery. They don't break it up and they don't do a third part. It's always about, I was a sorry excuse for an alcoholic human being at the end of it. And then when people listen to that, they go, oh my God, this is fucking horrible. I'm not going to AA. There's nothing there for me. So that's what we're trying to teach here today. So now we're going to close with a serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. So if you're new here and you have any questions about AA or this meeting, ask away. And I did want to talk to some of the kids that are really new here, unless you're going to disappear. So, hey, Laura, how'd you like today's meeting? Any good?
It was very interesting. It's kept my attention, and
Yeah.
I'll definitely be back. But it was very engaging,
Well, it'd be
and
nice. It'd be good if you came back. Nobody ever comes back. We've had 30,000 people here and they all leave this meeting and they go, oh, fuck this. I'm going to the bar. I have no idea why. But if you come back, that'll be a miracle right there. Come for 5 days and if you like it, then we'll put you to work. Let's ask, where'd she go? She was just here a second ago. Oh, and then of course, hey, Liz, you're here for your 3rd day in a row. You seem to be coming back. How did you like today's meeting?
I actually really love today's meeting. I love, I think what the last speaker said, how it kept my attention too. I just didn't, I'm really bad about paying attention in meetings. I drift. I'm terrible, not terrible, but so it's great. I
That's
liked
why
it.
we should change the meeting to this meeting is for attention deficit disordered people. Because if you have short-term, attention, this meeting was yours, is right there.
Yeah. Yep. It works. It's been working for me for 3 days. So
I know.
thank you.
Okay, good. Well, glad you're doing. James in Coventry, how about you? How did you like today's meeting?
Yeah, it was great. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Plenty of tea here in the teapot.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
I got a lot from it. Yes, yeah. It was just
Well,
a
you're
shame I
welcome to
could.
come back if you're awake, because I know it's late in England, but we're here
It's
every.
okay. I'm not working at the moment anyway, so it's
All right.
okay.
Well, you're welcome to come. We're here every single day, same time, same channel. Jennifer, did we talk to you yet? No. How did you like today's meeting, Jennifer? Or did I talk to you?
I thought it was really worthwhile. This is an interesting format, and this is my second day here, so
Good. Yeah, just
yeah.
keep coming.